Good afternoon, fam. I wanted to make this video in response to a video that came out by Dan.
I'm going to turn you over right now to Mr. Warmth, Dan the Tan Levitan.
Daniel Cortopassi came out about 2 weeks ago, and it deals with model railroading and the price, and prices going up, and where we're at with that and your budget, and so I wanted to respond to that, and I agree with everything he said. I got his video right here, that's why I pointed out, I'm looking at it, and I agree with everything he said. I don't know if he included this, but a couple things I want to state too is, if let's say you got a raise last year, and you're at your job, and it's like, yeah, I got a raise. Something you got to remember, typically raises can be around 2%, and inflation is, I think, around 4% or something. So if you got a raise, it was eaten up by inflation. So your raise was outpaced by the inflation and the cost of living. So it's like, yay, yeah. And hopefully you got some sort of bonus. Not everybody does, some companies do, but so yeah, it's kind of rough. It's like you're trying to make money, you're trying to enjoy the hobby, and it's getting more expensive. Bread's getting more expensive, eggs are getting more expensive, cars, oh my gosh, it's crazy what cars cost. And I believe the average cost of a car payment now is $700 a month. So yes, everything is going up. Now, other thing I wanted to comment on, I used to own a business for a very long time, and when things aren't going well with your cash flow and the economics of your business, if you're wise, you'll pivot. You'll rethink your business. You'll try to figure out how to reestablish yourself, how to reestablish your cash flow. And I had to do that. My wife and I had to do that with our business, and it worked out well. But I'm not sure if model railroad manufacturers are doing that. Personally, in my opinion, I think they've become very complacent with outsourcing to China. With an exception, I think, of Microtrains in Oregon, who makes N-scale products, I think Z-scale. They manufacture in the United States, and also microengineering, track, flex track, turnouts, things like that. They manufacture in the United States, but everyone else sends it to China. And China, the cost of doing business with China is increasing, at least from what I can tell. So I don't know if model railroad manufacturers are future-proofing their business. They're not thinking, okay, what can I do? A couple things that, in my opinion, what they could do is, one, they can learn to collaborate with each other, not to mess themselves up. Obviously they're competing for market share. Scaletrains is competing with athearn is competing with Walt. They're all competing together. And I think a problem that happens is they come out with the same engines. Scaletrains, InterMountain, and athearn came out with, I forget, Gevos. And, it's like, okay, take your pick. Which brand do you want? If I want an ESU Loc sound decoder in my Gevo, I'll take Scaletrains. If I want a Tsunami 2, I'll take the athearn. So I think they need to start collaborating, and it's been done before in the automotive industry. For example, you have Chevrolet and Toyota had a joint venture. It was called, and they created what was called the NUMMI manufacturing plant, and that's up in Northern California. And then after they dissolved that relationship, they turned around and sold that plant to Tesla. Now Tesla has that plant, and they make their Model S's, Model X's, Model 3s, and I think they also make Model Ys there, along with their factory in Texas. So I think that's one thing they really need to start thinking, and they need to just kind of say, hey, we know we're competing with each other, but let's be smart. Let's kind of figure out who's doing what so we're not stepping on each other's toes. And that way we can focus our manufacturing efforts on this group of models, and you can focus your manufacturing efforts on that group of models. But then again, there's also there's the demand. Everybody wants a GEVO, the General Electric GEVO locomotives. So yeah, obviously one's going to want to make them scaletrains, and then athearn, and then InterMountain, they're going to want to make it too. So I don't know how that will work out, but I think they need to future-proof. They need to think ahead, like, okay, how can we guard our business, our cash flow, our demand, so we're not competing with the other manufacturers directly, because there's not enough. There's only a certain amount of consumer demand. There's not millions of people out buying model railroad equipment. There just isn't. So you're competing for market share. Another thing I think these manufacturers really need to start considering, and they'll have every reason why they can't do it, start manufacturing in Mexico. I mean, there's a couple advantages I see to that. One, they can go down and visit their manufacturing facilities much more easily, and check on the quality, resolve issues, face to face. That's one thing. And then shipping would be cheaper because it's just coming across the border. And I know we have the NAFTA agreement. I don't know, a lot of people are against NAFTA. I'm not too familiar with it, but we do have those agreements for trade in place with Canada and Mexico. And as an example, again, I'll talk about Tesla. Tesla is building another gigafactory in Mexico, and that's going to be focused on manufacturing their cheaper, more broad level market entry electric vehicle, the so-called $25,000. Some are calling it the Model 2. I really think they need to start thinking about transferring from China to Mexico, again, to reduce costs, to make it more efficient, to be able to go over and see your supplier in a much more simple way, rather than having to go 8,000 miles away, and then there's time difference, and then how much time can you really spend there, and how much money are you spending on travel? I don't know. That's just my thought. I think that's something that the model railroad manufacturers really need to start considering, is how do we transition to Mexico? How can we develop that manufacturing base so we can save money and also have the manufacturing closer to home? So anyway, that's just my thoughts. Again, thanks to Dan Cortopassi on his thought-provoking video. And again, please check out his channel. He's got a lot of great reviews, a lot of discussions. He's building a room for his future model railroad. He's built modules. He likes to do upgrades, DCC and sound upgrades. So he's got a great channel. So I put a link below in his channel. So everybody, if you got some thoughts on the economics of model railroading and the future and what manufacturers they should be doing, put it in the comments below. Anyway, everybody have a great afternoon. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.